Hello everybody! Today's going to be a bit of a late video because I was a little distracted with some things. Don't worry about that. Regardless, today we are going to be reacting to a smaller channel. This guy's called Toxic, and he decided to roast a bunch of streamers' builds who played Elden Ring. And so, we're going to sit here, and as he's criticizing the builds, we are going to share our own opinions both on the vision of the build. I haven't seen the video yet. I hear he's a little vicious. But we're going to see. We're going to criticize. And let's see how it goes. By the way, any build that is focused on tankiness and strength immediately gets a 10 out of 10 from me. Regardless, let's watch.
Today I'm going to be bullying your favorite streamers because of their Elden Ring builds. Yep, I'm going to be taking 5 of your favorite streamers and pinning each of them against a new game plus Godric. Also, we can rate them based off of our criteria, which we'll get to in a second. Let the rating begin. First is CDog VA, the guy that voice acts every YouTube.
I'ma keep it a buck. I never vibed with Connor. I love Iron Mouse. I love everybody, almost everybody he hangs out with. Actually, I love some of the people he hangs out with. Unfortunately, he hangs out with Hassans. And a lot of people in his group. That's why I can't say most of those people. But I like a lot of the people that he hangs out with. But I don't know why. Something about Connor, right? Like, don't like clip this. But like something about him makes me think that eventually some bullshit is gonna come out and he's gonna turn out to be a terrible person. I don't know, man. Don't clip this. I'm not making a statement. I'm just saying I don't vibe with him. There's something about him I don't like.
Project and bows down to Latina women. No, really.
Listen to the feisty Latina lady. If she tells you to order pizza, order it, because you're gonna lose at the game if you don't, like I did.
What in the world is bro talking about? Before testing his build, my first impressions was that CDog was just running a normal strength build. I mean, this character is literally nuts from birth. The difference is that he is running Bloodhound Step, which is mostly just a replacement for dodge roll, so I don't think it'll impact things that much. But let's just get...
It's a pretty good replacement. So basically, it's just a strength build with Bloodhound Step. Bloodhound Step is a bit of a crutch. You lose out on a lot of damage, a lot of power to use it. It's something you should not be relying on if you want to be a better player.
Straight into testing, so we can hold him against our criteria, which we'll cover in a second. All right, let's see how this build feels. All right, Godric. Hello there, buddy. We're gonna try and use the Bloodhound Step quite a bit. Oh,
I mean, you should use it as much as you feel comfortable with, right?
If I failed at using the Bloodhound Step right there, that would have been pretty embarrassing. All right, buddy. We need to calm down here. We need to calm down.
Right, you should be being much more aggressive against the Godric.
Why did I just go down a glowstone? I did not mean to do that. I can see you now. You're not in the darkness anymore.
Why are you so afraid of Godric? Just beat his ass.
I mean, this is just pretty much saying more about the Bloodhound Step than anything. Yeah. The Bloodhound Step is so forgiving. I've never really gone fully in with the Bloodhound Step.
This guy is... I'm sorry. I know we're supposed to be cooking streamers, but right now I'm cooking Toxic. Brother, what are you doing? Godric should be dead by now. Godric should be dead by now, alright? You should be being so much more aggressive. He is so slow. He is so forgiving. Just hit him. Just hit the guy. Eventually he falls over.
Still sucking at the game. But yeah.
Go in! Go beat his ass!
Bloodhound Step is...
Dodge forward! Oh my god.
Very easy for me. Okay. Let's not die here.
Hit him!
It would honestly be pretty embarrassing if I died.
Hit him! Hit the guy!
I'm kind of spamming my Bloodhound Step a lot. So we ran out of FP and I don't have any FP bottles, so...
Why didn't he use his physic?
Okay. There you go, buddy.
Oh my god, oh my god.
Well, Godric went down, and pretty easily too. This is a very forgiving and easy build.
That was easy for you!
I guess I'll just hand it to my future self to give my...
That's how your easy fights go. Look at your Estus Flask! Motherfucker spent half his Estus Flasks on Godric.
Full thoughts on this. Now that we've tested Connor's build, time to dig into the criteria.
Yes.
The first criteria we'll rate each build on is creativity. CDog scores pretty low in the creativity department. This really is just another strength build. The only thing that's different from other strength builds is the fact that he has a Bloodhound Step. And the Bloodhound Step doesn't even give him anything in the creative department. So I just have to be honest and say that...
the Bloodhound... It's basically a strength build that is using Bloodhound Step as a crutch.
Connor's build doesn't have any creativity at all. It's really just another strength build. But a place where he doesn't fail is our next criteria. The fun factor will be the second criteria that...
I disagree. I think that by using the Bloodhound step, it loses out on fun factor.
Each build is rated on. And Connor's build absolutely wins here. It may just be another strength build, but strength builds are always fun.
True.
And as generic as the Bloodhound step ability is, you can't deny
The issue isn't that it's generic, it's that it's a crutch and that you lose out on the flavor of a strength build. Like, if he had been using the Lion's Fang attack, that would have been much better. Giant Slayer, even better, right? Like, stuff that actually leans into the strength build rather than, you know, trying to crutch it up a little.
that it is super fun. If you're new, Bloodhound Step makes you feel like a pro. And if you're an experienced player, you're invincible. You aren't the tarnished one anymore. You're the Doom Slayer. And the Greatsword is straight up one of the most fun weapons you can use. The moveset makes you feel like an absolute powerhouse. It also makes it so easy to stagger the bosses. So overall, it's a...
Yeah, because it allows you to be much more aggressive. He wasn't using it super well, but yeah, it allows you to be much more aggressive.
super fun strength build. Mr. Seadog voice actor definitely gets loads of points in the fun factor. And now time to move on to our final criteria. Viability. And this Latina
it's a
appreciator
perfectly
does pretty good here. He's running a good strength build, and strength builds are always viable. Bloodhound Step makes survival easy, and the Guts Greatsword is always amazing. But some of his talismans are questionable, and he's also over-leveling some stats. But we'll dive into that once we give him a score. But overall, he does pretty good in the viability category. It's a solid strength build, and now it's time to give him his final score. Now, as for Connor's score, he has a pretty generic strength build that achieves a decent amount of fun while also being very viable. I'm gonna give CD's Nuts Virginia a 7 out of...
The video, look, I'm also gonna criticize the video a little bit. Like, I love his script. The script is hilarious. It could cut down a little bit on the on some of the gameplay aspect. Like the gameplay of him fighting Godric. Like, my God, brother, work on that. Like, what? But this guy's script work is so fucking good.
10. This may seem harsh, but it really is just another strength build. But there are loads of things he can do to get a...
Just another strength build? What does he mean by over-leveling some stats? He's got pretty good stats overall. He's got Holy Resistance. That was probably for no, that's that gives resistance to everything. So that's perfectly reasonable to have. The health and the stamina, I don't know why he has the extra strength there. He would have been better off with Axe Talisman for charge attacks. I probably would have gone for the Turtle Talisman for the stamina recovery, and the Steel Dragon Crest Ring for the damage reduction.
10. The first issue with this build is that he has level 85 strength. You start really getting diminishing returns.
That's okay. That's perfectly fine, because, like, where else is he going to level, right? He's already got the most vigor you really need, and he's got more than enough endurance with 40 endurance. So going for as much strength as you can is not a bad thing, especially because in Elden Ring, when you two-hand, you still get that 50% extra, even if you're at 99%, so it's fine.
Past level 60. And with his build, I don't see a point in leveling it past.
If he's two-handing, there's absolutely a point, because you feel that difference.
60. This means if he changed this, he would have a whopping 25 levels he could literally put anywhere else.
Yeah, but where else would he put it, right? So I don't agree with this take.
That's insane. Do you have any idea what a man could do with 25 levels in this economy? He could put that into mind and get more focus points for his Bloodhound Step.
Why? He doesn't need it.
Or he could throw it into Dex and get more mileage for his great...
We don't level Dex in this house! What are you talking about?
Sword scaling. Also, he has 60 vigor. He doesn't need the Crimson Amber Medallion.
True.
He could put so many amazing...
He could put the one that gives a little bit of everything, so he gets a little bit more stamina. The Ring of Favor and Protection equivalent. I forget what it's called in Elden Ring. It's been a while. But yeah, I think I would have gone for the Steel Dragon Crest, because he clearly wants toughness here, right? So I would go here with the Turtle Talisman, stamina regen. This is fine, it's just overall reduction of non-physical damage, and then I'd get the Steel Dragon Crest for physical damage reduction, and then here I would either go with Axe Talisman for charge attacks, or I would double down on the on the resistance side of thing for some extra poise. So the bullhorn talisman. Make sure I can't get staggered out of my attacks.
Talismans there. The world is your oyster, man. Same thing applies to the Star Scourge heirloom. He's already over the strength cap, so it's really unnecessary.
Yeah, I would just sit at 80 strength and be fine with it.
But these are no-life recommendations. Like, what player cares about stat caps? But either way, that's what he would have to change to get a 10. Congrats to Connor for getting a 7 out of 10. We have 4 more really popular streamers.
Let's see the others.
And one of them about Germa. But before we get into the just have to try. But let's get right into Germa's build. I don't know a lot about Germa other than the fact that he's the reason this god-awful image exists.
Jesus fucking Christ, what is that?
But before we get into the in-game testing, my first impressions of this build is that this armor makes Germa look strangely curvaceous. I mean, seriously, Germa's character is a man,
I think
and
he's
I'm straight. But Germa's
Dexent.
armor got me going. His character's hot and sexy body aside, my pre-testing thoughts is that this seems like a pretty normal magic build. He has a Carrion Regal Scepter, so for testing, we're gonna lean into using moon spells because
Shouldn't you be using the spells that he uses?
of the buff the scepter provides. He also pairs that with the Moonveil Katana, so we get a healthy dose of melee and magic in this build. Respect to Germa for not sitting in a corner
You should try to mimic their gameplay as well, so that you actually get an idea of how they play.
and spamming magic like some other people do. But anyways, let's get straight into the test. Ooh, got you.
Okay.
You can tell that I killed you before. Take this. Take Starlight. Haha, you can see me now. Oh, I moved that. I've done that.
He is really
Come on.
shouldn't be.
Attack, get him.
Okay,
Oh,
that's a good
did
one.
so much
Triggered
damage.
frostbite.
Do that's a little. That's
We're just gonna skip through the fight because this is
I guess
not
I
that
need to-
relevant.
honestly
He's
falling off.
he's not the best player, right? Clearly. So that's fine. We're just going to skip through the fights because we want to see his opinion on the builds. This build against Godric, if he had focused on spamming the Moonveil and using the Ice Crags, he could have applied Frostbite and completely overwhelmed Godric. The fight would have taken 30 seconds.
Off the edge aside, that battle was a lot easier than any of the other.
No, the fuck. I mean, I guess he's still got most of it, but like, goddamn, what did you spend all of this on? It's because he was spamming Moonlights, right?
Times that I've tried it with any. After testing Germa's build, my thoughts on it have changed. I thought it was gonna be just a generic magic build, but the spell choices and the use of the Moonveil really made this build a blast
I assume those were Germa's spell choices then.
to play with. When it comes to creativity, I gotta say, Germa did good in this department. There is definitely a meta when
I mean, he was going meta. That is Dexent is the most meta build you can go
it
for.
comes to magic. Stay in a corner and keep dealing damage from afar till the boss kills himself because of how annoying you are. But Germa doesn't fill that mold at all. He has the spells Glintstone Ice Crag and Ranni's Dark Moon to fulfill all his long and mid-range needs, while also having Adula's Moonblade and Moonveil to
Yeah, he focused on ice magic, which is why he was wearing the cap. It's actually a pretty good. It's actually a pretty good build. I don't think Adula's was the best. The Moon Scepter was not Adula's. The Regal Moon Staff, whatever the fuck it's called. That wasn't the best choice for him. I think that either going for the Blue Comet Staff or the green one. So either the Azure, I forget the one that lets you cast slightly faster. That might have been better for him. Either that or the one that increases the damage of all of his spells, or that just has a really high scaling. I think either one of those would have been better for him. Regardless, overall, very good build. Basically meta, right? Just focus on Frostbite. That's how you take out the monsters really quickly, and then you have Moonveil for just chunking enemies.
handle all his short-range needs. And we can't forget about luminosity, because the human eye needs light to see. The combination of these make a build that's equal in both long and close-range play. It's absolutely awesome seeing people actually make use of the cool spells in Elden Ring and not just use Comet Azure all game. So Germa definitely takes the victory home when
But he did have Comet Azure. Don't think we missed that.
it comes to creativity. And when it comes to fun, as I mentioned before, this is a super versatile build that works at all ranges.
Yeah,
Every
it's
situation
sorceries.
the boss put me in, I felt like I had an answer to everything. Oh, Godric knocked me across the map? Alright, it's with my
But
magic.
so let's
So
see
Germa's
what the actual rating is.
Moonveil, which we all know is amazing. And with the fact this build has an answer for almost any situation you can get yourself in, makes me have to admit that this build is super viable and insanely strong. Derma's build accomplishes being a magic build that's super strong, while not having to stick to a gimmick or overusing an attack. It's just a good and fun build, which isn't something you can say about a lot of magic builds. Just a Stargazer Heirloom.
Okay, so let's see here. He's got extra int. He's got extra spell damage, toughness, extra magic. He's got the Rani's hat for extra frost spell damage. I still say that this isn't the best staff he could have been using, but that's okay. He's got okay, that's good fashion here.
He's in the end game. I mean, Derma, come on, seriously? You're at 68 intelligence, and you only need 60 to use the Regal Scepter. I mean,
yes, but the cap for intelligence is 80. So you want that higher because it increases your damage significantly, and it doesn't need that much more.
dude, you only have 4 talisman slots, and you're putting one to waste completely. Replace the Stargazer talisman for a talisman that helps you better manage your FP, and stop dressing like a femboy Hooters employee. And then you would have a 10 out of 10 build on your hands. Emiru's build. If you don't know who Emiru is, all you need to know is that she's a feminine life form that's super talented at offering thoughtful commentary through her streams.
Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow.
I know that this is gonna get me hate. Emiru has to be one of the hottest fucking streamers ever. Both like just overall attitude, she's one of the nicest people that I've seen on Twitch. One of very few like top tier streamers that I hope to meet one day. And maybe just, you know, hang out, play games with, even off stream. Like, she just seems super nice to hang out with. And she's just fucking gorgeous. Like, I'm not taking no hate for this. She's gorgeous.
Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow.
Singing voice too.
I don't really have many pre-test thoughts for this one. It just looks like a quality build, but the weapon looks interesting.
So she's using the Godslayer Greatsword and using the Millennia Armor, probably because she thinks the Millennia Armor looks cool. The Godslayer Greatsword is peak, right? It's one of the coolest swords in the game.
So let's just jump straight into testing. This seems like another pretty basic run-of-the-mill build, so I'm thinking that this won't be very different from
You gotta be aggressive.
like Connors
use
and all that.
Why is he not
But
attacking?
I don't know, we'll see. We will see. This Ash of War
Also, I cannot help but notice that he is not actually using their build. He's got way higher stats than they would.
could definitely spice things up. Alright, let's try and get this Ash of War in. This is an opening.
Like, see, you see that attack? It hit. He had maximum poise. He did not get staggered by that. That's weird. Like, he should have been staggered, I think.
Alright. That didn't do...
You didn't do the full Ash of War, by the way. That's 3 attacks. The Ash of War, he does this, and it reads the sword in Black Flame, then another attack, and another attack. If you get the full thing, Godric's health should be around here. At NG+.
A shocking amount of damage. It's a good Ash of War, and it has a lot of aura in its like moveset and everything.
Okay.
But overall,
Back away from
the
Godric,
jump
just
attack
let him
is
go
almost
crazy.
as good as the Ash of War.
Well,
Let's try
yeah,
out the
it's
Ash
an
of
ultra
War
great
again,
sword.
though, just to see. Here, don't do
1,
that. You have to actually hit
2,
him.
and...
Alright, there we go. We staggered him.
Okay.
As you would expect to have Emiru's build. Sword. And now he's cutting off his arm. Cool. And while we're testing Emiru's build, you should go ahead and leave a like and subscribe to the community when you consider just how good the jump attack is. Will and
Wait,
becomes a
didn't-
part of this amazing community. Yeah.
Here's the thing. With Godric, when he goes into the second phase, he just does the fire. He could have just run forward, get right on his face, and then just do the full Ash of War, and he could have probably killed Godric.
So I will.
But let's finish.
Just do
Let's skip through this fight.
Right? And you're dead. I still think
Okay.
the Ash of War isn't all that.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. You just didn't use it properly. If you use that Ash of War properly, that is one of the hardest hitting Ash of Wars in the game. Even in PvP, it's really hard to avoid because people don't see it coming. The Godslayer Greatsword is definitely a weapon that should have been legendary.
But it's still a decent Ash of War.
It's
and
amazing.
It doesn't cut the to my I needed to point that out just in case. Right. Before we get into officially judging her, I need to point out the fact that Emiru changed her build a lot throughout her playthrough.
Yes.
I just grabbed the build she walked into the final fight with. I just needed to point that out just in case you see her playing with another build and think that I pulled this out of nowhere.
I think she started out going Dex, and then she tried out some other stuff, but and ended up with that one because that's just the best sword in the fucking game. Like aura-wise, just vibes-wise, best great sword in the game.
When it comes to creativity, Emiru doesn't go far in this category. I think she was just trying to make a generic build so she could just...
Generic build? What are you talking about? She's using an awesome sword that you can only find by exploring. She played the game very close to launch, so she had to go exploring everything. She found that on her own, saw that sword, went, oh, this is an awesome sword, and then she just made a build for that and used it. Like, what do you mean generic build? There's nothing generic about that, especially when at the time, right?
Try loads of stuff out, which is fair because it is her first playthrough, but it results in a super boring build. Even her talismans just give general stat boosts. One plus in her category though is the weapon. This weapon has so much aura. The special ability is literally imbuing it with black flames and violently striking your opponents down. So yeah, Emiru's build isn't creative, but her weapon is cool, I guess. Honestly, she barely gets any points in this category. When we're talking about fun factor in this build, Emiru does a pretty good job. Granted, that's only because of the weapon. Actually, you know what?
I mean, the weapon is the build.
I'll also give her credit in this zone because of her stats. They're so even that you can just do anything with this build.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's her weapon that wins for this category. I mean, it's a great sword, and all great swords are fun, but this one's moveset in particular is super strong. And the fact the ability attacks 2 times is a cool little
3.
cherry on top. This sword's so cool that I'm gonna have to use it in my own playthrough. So Emiru without a doubt takes a decent win in this category. So how viable is Emiru's build? Super viable. It's like the vanilla ice cream of Elden Ring. You know, you can just...
Yeah, he's talking about the stats, right? If you're going on your first playthrough, my recommendation, if you're an experienced Souls player, go Deprived and then just level stats so that you can use every weapon. That's what I did, right? Like my main character in my main like toon in Elden Ring is literally just big stats across the board. He's got like 60 on every major stat.
put anything with these stats and be fine. She definitely doesn't need some of the talismans that she has, which I will get to in the scoring.
Show us the
but
talismans.
to be honest, those aren't even a big deal. Let's just score Emiru. Emiru has a generic build, but has an absolutely sick sword. But I think the very essence of this build is trying to enable her experimentation. It's not even trying to be a good build, so I'm essentially just harassing someone who's just trying to play the game. But I give her a 7. Like I said earlier.
So, good choice here. She didn't know that she could get the Great Jar one, so she probably, she doesn't have it. Erdtree's Favor, that's what it's called, I remember now. Yep, that's a good one. This is a good one. She should have it's better to have the damage reduction here than the extra HP, in my opinion, but I mean, somebody else do the math on that, I wouldn't know. And this could be upgraded with the Great Jar if she wanted to wear heavier armor. I think if she leveled up her endurance a little bit, it would have been better. And yeah, these stats that you see here, this is literally just she was likely leveling whichever stat was giving her most damage on this weapon. Perfectly reasonable. She basically found a weapon that she liked and she leveled up for it. But I know that she respec'd a bunch of times.
Earlier, this build isn't trying to be amazing, so I'm not gonna say what she would have to do to get this build to a 10, because to do that, you would have to change the very bones of this build. But I will say, she has enough vigor. She doesn't need the Crimson Amber Medallion. But
she has, I think, 43. That is not enough. 43 vigor is not enough vigor. So I do not mind that she has that Amber Medallion.
Since she's switching weapons constantly, it's not like that's even a big deal because it's staying on theme with not committing to anything. But the only other thing I have to say is that she could get a higher variant arsenal charm. If you're going to use a talisman slot, you might as well get more equip load.
Well, she likely never found it, right? She was just playing the game. She wasn't. This was very early on. I think she might have kept playing and eventually found all the stuff, but yeah, she didn't have it yet.
But she probably just missed them, so it's fine. So yeah, she gets a 6.5. Above average because of her cool sword. And now it's time for Asmongold.
The goat. And by goat, I mean, look at his fucking face.
Gold's build. My pre-test thoughts on this build is that it looks pretty sick. I don't see many people running dual-wield halberds, and I think
He literally went full tank. I want to be no-braining. And if this guy doesn't just fucking press the W key and jump attack the boss down to get the full experience of Asmongold's build, he's doing it wrong.
Asmongold's dual halberd jump attack build looks so cool. The one clip I've seen of Asmon playing Elden Ring was him melting through a boss's health bar with this build.
Yes.
So I'm super excited
Didn't he melt Melania as well?
to test this. But before we get into the testing, I gotta say it. If you watch Asmongold, you know he's balding. But why is his Elden Ring character balding
He tries to make his characters look like him.
too? He really went into character creation and went out of his way to make his character balding. Like, dude, aren't you supposed to use video games to escape reality?
No.
Alright, let's get into testing. I'm gonna start off with
Yep, jump at him.
attacking you. Oh, I like that. I really like that. Holy crap, man.
Go in.
Alright. Oh, missed that one.
Okay.
Alright, buddy. Moving in. Okay. And we already have a stagger. Or is that phase 2?
That
Wait,
is
that's
phase
phase
two.
2.
Yeah.
I staggered super quick. We're gonna speedrun a stagger. Whoop.
Yeah, jump again. That is exactly how you
Okay.
beat down Godric. And now
Let's
finish him
try
off.
just a normal attack this time.
Yeah.
Alright.
That is exactly how you beat
That
down
was
Godric.
so unbelievably fast.
You burst him down to phase 2, and then in phase 2, you burst him down again.
Dude, this build was so much fun to use.
Yes!
Holy crap, man. It's such
goated.
a... I have so much to say about this build, but...
It's a goated build.
I've had so... I'm just gonna hand it over.
His Shadow of the Earth Tree build was even cooler. He literally just went full tank. I love it.
Over to future me to just get those thoughts out right now. Wow, that testing session did not last long at all. Let's get straight into it. Asmon's build absolutely wins in the creativity category. This man is showing how much of a gamer he is. He perfectly put together every piece of gear he needed to make a full-on jump attack build.
Yes.
Jump attacks are
I actually did the same thing for a bit.
so good, and this man fully leaned into that. Most people I see play this game get the golden halberd at the start and never touch that thing again. But Asmon turned the thing into a goated endgame weapon. And I also haven't seen a lot
Yeah, it's a really strong weapon, actually. It's one of the better halberds in the game.
of people use the gargoyle's halberd either.
The problem is that when you get it, it requires such high stats that most people can't use it, right? And Asmongold took one look at that and went, I like this, I'm going to use it.
This is just a Chad build. Asmon gets full scores in creativity. When it comes to the fun category, just give it to Asmon already.
Yes.
Just do it. Jump
Yes.
attacks are already the most fun attack type, and you're telling me I just get to spam it? Poor Godric didn't even get a word in. For the first time in Elden Ring history, I felt like the one who had an advantage. I was so
I mean, bro, your builds suck then, because I'm not trying to hate on him. I'm not trying to be toxic here, but I mean, you should have the advantage for most of these fights if you're playing well.
one who knocks. I was the storm that was approaching. And the Dragon Great Shield adding that huge resistance is just a cherry on top, making you feel untouchable. This is
Yep.
the most fun Elden Ring build I've ever used. Was it viable? Did you guys see that
100%.
health bar? Yeah, it's crazy viable. When you wield this against a boss, it's like those videos that are like 1000 degrees knife against insert item here. Let's just
It is definitely a high-level speedrun build.
stop wasting our time. Asmon gets a 10. I didn't
Like, look at this shit. He's got the Steel Dragon Great Shield, Stone Dragon Great Shield, talisman for extra toughness. He's got more strength. He's at 99, even more. Like, yes, it does stack all that high. He's got the Great Jar for extra carry weight. He's got this one for even more. Like, it's super fucking strong. He literally has just enough stats to use the golden halberd so that he can use the buff for extra damage. This build is flawless.
didn't know I needed a dual-wield halberd jump build, but now I do. I could comment on the fact that he has 99 strength, which is
Yes, but that's good. It's more damage.
well over the cap, but
Here's the thing. The way the cap works is it's a soft cap. There is no hard cap in Elden Ring for these stats. It's just going to keep going up.
But at this point, the build is such a Chad build. 99 strength is probably more of a statement.
He could have taken out enough points to have 40 endurance so that he could roll around and do a little bit more, and that would have been better for the build. It's why this is a 9 out of 10 in my opinion instead of a 10 out of 10. But you know, like he probably like take out 16 points from here, he'd be at what, 83 strength? Yeah. Yeah, that would be fine, but
We
still.
have found a true gamer. Too bad he became a political streamer.
He's...
But hats off to Asmon for this build. Now for the final streamer of this
Yeah,
video.
who is the
we
final
have
streamer?
Disguised Toast. I gotta be honest, the only thing I know about this guy is that he played Among Us at least once. And when it comes
Didn't everyone?
down to my pre-test thoughts, this is a Moonveil build.
What the fuck is this?
Yup, it's a Moonveil build.
This is literally just the heaviest armor that he can wear with his current endurance, and then Moonveil Katana.
And with a shield, which actually isn't common. Let's just give it a chance.
Well, that's the spell parry shield, which is pretty common. It's the best shield until you find out about Vow of the one that makes you invulnerable.
And to testing we go. Alright, right off the bat, the shield doesn't have any Ash of War, so we can just use the Moonveil's Ash of War without having to unequip. Let's see how the shield is. Can you dodge this, buddy?
Yeah, it's a good shield. It's the carrion
This is
shield.
pretty good. This negates 100% of physical damage. Alright.
Yeah, most shields do that. Most good shields.
Dude, this is like a really solid shield.
Yeah.
There you go, buddy.
For the love of God, kill
Negate all your
Godric.
damage. That's what you get there now. It's not every...
Oh, he took us. He hit him finally.
in
Took
tandem
a while.
with the shield. It's not
Bro.
completely unheard of, but it's definitely not usual. Come on, Dragon Boy. I'm gonna tear you apart.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tear
Come
you
on.
apart. Let's actually start using some of Moonveil's abilities.
Yes,
Holy crap,
please.
man. This is absolutely insane. I keep forgetting just how good Moonveil is.
Yes, it's OP.
Like, this is a
There is a reason that the Moonveil dominated that game when it came
top
out.
tier katana for a reason. And now that we've lost some health, let's actually try and use that talisman that regenerates our health a little bit.
Bro, it is so slow. Just keep
Okay,
playing
that
the
is an
fucking...
It was like,
Yeah,
within
just
a
fight him.
almost complete. Like, wait. Let my...
The thing with the health regen talisman and why it's so good is if you stack multiple sources of health regen, like from the talisman plus the shield that regenerates your health, plus I think there's some extra equipment that does it as well, and then on top of that you use the spell to regenerate health, your health is just constantly regenerating super fast, and it's really strong. But just one of them, not that strong.
Health regen. But dude, at that point, you'd be waiting like 50 years. Godric.
Bro, finish the fight.
You are dead. All right, let's finally finish this guy off.
Yep.
There you go, Godric. You are dead once again. To be as impactful as they were. So let's just get straight into the details. When it comes to creativity, Toast is lacking. It's
Yeah.
just a Moonveil build. And even though I do
It's just the build that everybody was like, oh my god, this is the strongest weapon in the game.
think the shield makes for a nice addition, it's just such an...
I do think that one improvement to Germa's build would be to use the Moonlight, or Dusk Moon, or whatever the hell it's called, the Moonlight Greatsword, right? Because it's extra frost buildup, rather than... And plus, it fits the aesthetic that he was going for much better than the Moonveil.
Nothing burger in the creativity
And I think he did go for it
category.
later.
I will say, the Moonveil isn't the Rivers of Blood or Nagakiba. So
Yeah, but the Moonveil was much stronger at the time. You have to keep that in mind. You can't apply current standard to the older build. The older builds have to be treated with the standards of their time.
you can argue that he didn't go for the biggest meta.
He did.
But Moonveil
Because at the time, Moonveil was the biggest meta. Rivers of Blood only became meta after Moonblade got nerfed into the ground.
is still...
Like, if he had been doing this with the build that they actually fought with, he would have absolutely been witness. Because, like, I think this is a relatively... Yeah, this is from 12 days ago. Not relatively. This is a recent video. So... Yeah, this is absolutely not applying the standard of the time. At the time, Moonveil was so much stronger than either of those.
kind of meta. I guess it's...
Not to mention, Rivers of Blood is strong it was only really meta in PvP.
A little
Because there's a lot of bosses that are just straight up immune to bleed.
creative because of the shield. I'll just give that to him. But is Toast's build fun? Yeah, it's really fun. I mean, it's 99% because of the Moon Veil. That thing is just a dream to use. But the shield also adds a healthy layer of fun. The 100% damage negation was huge and made me feel like an immovable object because I was. And that's super fun.
Right, like that is one of the wimpier shields, and Godric is not one of the types of bosses that applies enough pressure to actually break through the shield. He's actually a pretty wimpy boss. I think Margit would have been a better test of some of these builds.
Toast gets good marks in the fun
Because Margit actually requires you to play well.
category. Now in the viability category, the Moon Veil is of course an amazing weapon, so it goes without saying this build
S tier katana.
is super viable. But the shield is also a big factor in its viability. I don't always want to dodge an attack, and when there's an attack I don't know
Yes, you do.
how to dodge yet, it's a godsend having a shield that will just negate all the damage. It can replace dodging in a lot of cases if you use it right. It's also great for a first playthrough, which makes me surprised I don't see things like it more often. I do have some
Because ain't nobody here to be a bitch. You know what I'm saying? It's the first playthrough. We're trying to learn. The shield prevents learning because the shield gives you an easy out from learning.
problems with the talismans, but we'll get to that in the scoring. But
Yeah.
I think Toast kills the viability category.
Yeah.
And as for Toast's score, he has a cool Moon Veil build. Don't get me wrong, he has questionable
regular
talismans,
Moon
but
Veil build.
overall, he has an interesting take on the Moon Veil build, which was way more
It's not that interesting. It's just, he's wearing reasonably heavy armor
fun to
with
play
his
with
Moon
than I
Veil build.
expected. So I'm gonna give Toast a 7.5 out of
He literally went, how meta can I make this?
10. As I said before,
Okay, so see, yeah, he stacked intelligence as high as it went. He's wearing the heaviest armor that he can has the endurance to wear. He doesn't have the best arsenal talisman, because if he did, he probably would be full omen. Because he's only got this one. For the health regen, he probably would have been better off with either the life talisman or the stone or great dragon steel ring. Whatever, I always forget what it's called, but the physical damage reduction ring. There is the +2 version of this, which he probably would want, and yeah, I think that's Marika's Sword Seal or no, I think it's Radagon's Sword Seal because he only has 8 Faith and Arcane. If he had Marika's Sword Seal, he would have more than that at least. So yeah, he's got this, which reduces his damage reduction, but it does increase his physical stats a bit. It's probably how he's able to have enough dexterity for this, whilst not stacking his physical stats too high. I feel like if he had put those points into he could have put the extra points here. No need to have it this high because for weapons, intelligence does not stack as high as for spells. Like the soft cap for spells is 80, but for spells it's still 60. For spells, for weapons it's still 60. So he could have done it a little bit better.
Toast's build is super fun and viable to play with, but the talisman section is just a mess. I mean, really? Radagon's Scar Seal in the endgame? You're taking more damage to boost your stats
It's the Scar Seal, not even the Sword Seal.
when most of your
A lot of people don't find the Sword Seal until they look it up.
useful stats are already where they need to be. I'm also not a fan of the Blessed Dew Talisman, and if you're gonna have the Arsenal Charm, you could get a higher version of it. But once again, probably
Yeah, pretty much everything here could be upgraded, so it's not the best. Like he could have the Scar Seal here, or the Sword Seal, I mean, because he's got the Scar Seal, which is the weaker version. He could have a better version of pretty much everything here, and this one here, because it's the only source of health regen that he has, it's not that good.
just miss the higher versions. So I'm not gonna go too hard on that. And what in the world are you wearing? You're rocking the
It's the heaviest armor he can afford to wear with his endurance. That's it. That's all it is.
Dung Eater Greaves? Like, what am I looking at, man?
It's just the heaviest armor he can wear.
Change all that and you could get near a 10 out of 10. 7.5 honestly isn't bad, Toast.
No, it isn't. No. It is a 7.5 is a very nice score for this build. This build shouldn't even have a 5 out of 10 because bad talisman allocation, because everything here could be upgraded. It's a generic Moon Veil build. okay stat allocation. The armor is literally just the heaviest he could find for the most damage reduction. Like, it's a pure meta build, right? Like, this should be a 5 out of 10 build.
If you want me to bully a streamer you like, leave them down in the comments so I can get to them next time. And if I miss some,
Overall, it's not a bad take on these builds. Yeah, it's a good take. This person could probably stand to be a little bit better at Elden Ring if they're going to make Elden Ring content, but hey, it's really good for it's a journeyman's take on these issues, right? He clearly doesn't know some things, but hey, you know, give him time. He'll learn. He'll get better. I liked the video. I hope you guys give this guy a view as well. If you know, go there. If you come from me, you know, just give him a view, give him a like. I'll see you guys next time. This was a nice video. Cheers, fellas.